Will it be released to 4K or not to 4K? That is the question. In today's physical media news topic video, we talk about what movies will be released to Blu-ray, which ones will be released to 4K, get into a massive rant on the dirty trick that certain studios will try to play on you, and of course we talk about when is the best time to pick up 4Ks, so let's get into it. But first, if you love collecting physical media just like me, all the different formats like DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks, you are in the right spot, my mega collecting friend. Go ahead and mega blockbust that like and subscribe. That way you stay super entertained and up to date on all the latest physical media topics. And leave in the comments below, when do you wait for certain formats to pick up? So diving into this topic news here, we have to talk about when are certain movies going to be released on certain formats. Is there any rhyme or reason to the different disc formats out there when the studio decides to release one over the other? If they play the waiting game and release different formats at different times, it seems like complete chaos and madness out there. When shopping, you just don't know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen from a collecting standpoint. So let's just talk about it today. What have I noticed out there? Do we see any trends or patterns? Well, some studios will play a little sick game with y'all, which we will rant on that in a little bit. But just to know what's going to come out in general to a DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K, it is very tough to decide that. I got to be straight up with you guys. I wish I had the be all end all formula here that works every single time, but no, this is a lot of speculation and just educated analytic guessing. So we're going to work with what we have today, of course. Now, if you ask me, hey, what's going to come out the 4K? What's going to come out the Blu-ray? What's going to come out the DVD? Well, in general, most things will be released to DVD. Things just go to DVD and then don't jump up in the Blu-ray formats ever, or even less into 4K format. So if you at least want the movie in your collection, the DVD is not a bad option. DVD is popular for a reason. I do love the DVD format myself, and that's what's available. That's what's available. As simple as that. Now, what will come out to a Blu-ray? So most new mainstream popular releases, if they gone to the theater, usually those will at least end up on Blu-ray. Very rarely does a new movie come out in theaters and then it ends up going to DVD, unless it's so obscure that just nobody's really heard of the movie before. I haven't seen that before. Now, the things that do go to DVD are like your Lifetime movies, your Hallmark movies, right? Your random, shark attack movies that we've seen a million times, right? So some really low budget horror stuff may just go to DVD. But if it's gotten a proper theatrical release, usually you'll at least see the Blu-ray HD format, at least from what I notice out there. So you can at least pick up the Blu-ray, which is a really cool option. They'll have the DVD, they'll have the Blu-ray, and then you pick your favorite between the two. Now, in terms of 4K, now a lot of people are here to wonder, hey, when is something going to get a 4K release? Now, a lot of new movies do get 4Ks. A lot of theatrical releases do get 4Ks because that is the most premium modern format. They're sold at a higher price range. They do want to get the money from the premium collectors a lot of times. So if it's a new mainstream title, like a blockbuster movie, a very popular movie, if it did well at the box office, and I mean really well, because sometimes movies do pretty decent based on their budget and they still don't get a 4K release, they only get a Blu-ray. But I say if it done amazingly popular, it will often get a 4K. Now, it's not because the box office necessarily, like a movie has to be planned in advance. And so usually studios will decide in advance, is it going to come out the DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K? So often the decision is made before it even releases the theaters. But I'm just saying, how can we correlate instead of causate? Well, correlation properties say that, hey, if a movie ends up usually being pretty darn popular to the mainstream audience, it usually will get the 4K. Now, once again, this doesn't mean everything. I've seen rom-coms only get the Blu-ray that end up being decently popular enough in theaters, and horror movies and thrillers that ended up being decently popular based on their budget only get the Blu-ray, not to the 4K, because these plans were made in advance. Maybe the studios didn't know they were going to be so popular, and then they're like, dang, we could have got some 4K collecting money out of it, right? So that all plays a part there. But once again, this is just general educated guesses here on what you can usually expect to plan accordingly. But let's get into a massive rant next on some sick games that studios will play with your wallet, because we got to warn you guys out there. All right, so blockbustering into the BS here that some studios play, and this is definitely Universal section here. They are the biggest offender here, where they purposely will often release something to Blu-ray with the full intention to release it to 4K later on. It might be 6 months down the road, a year down the road, but they'll end up releasing it to 4K later on. They did it with the Black Phone and some other movies as well. So it's just super annoying when they do that, because you're like, come on, you knew you were going to release a 4K, you knew there was going to be a market for it, but no, you just started off with the Blu-ray. Same thing happened with let's see, Malignant, right? Oh my gosh, I was pissed when that happened, because I'm like, I really love that movie. I thought it was a really great horror movie, very inventive, James Wan title. And I would have bought the 4K if the 4K was an option released with the Blu-ray, but it was only Blu-ray. I thought maybe, oh, we're only going to get a Blu-ray out of this. And then later on, they release a 4K, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So now I've been waiting on certain titles out there, and it's not just Universal. A lot of other studios have started to do this too. And so you just got to be cautious out there. You really have to think about it. Like Immaculate, I'm so happy I didn't pick up that Blu-ray, even though it looked to be a really good, solid deal. I just had that feeling that, ooh, Sydney Sweeney, that's going to be in 4K. You need to see that in 4K, if you know what I mean. So that's going to come out to 4K. And guess what? It came out to 4K. So a lot of times these studios will play these sick games. They want you to double dip. They want to force those double dips to get extra money. They're like, you love the movie, you're going to buy the Blu-ray, and then we're going to get the 4K to you. And you're just going to be collecting all of these movies, double dipping, triple dipping, quadruple dipping to get that milk money out of you, basically. So yeah, it's sick that these studios do that. They want that collector's money so much. And I just despise that. To me, it's like, come on, studios, don't wrong your consumers. We want consumer loyalty. We want consumers to return to you based off of great experience, and we'll get you money. Don't worry, we'll get you money if you're doing a good job, but just do things the right way. If you know that you want to release these different formats, then put them all together. Give us the options at the same time. Release the DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, Steelbook, slipcover option. Like, give us all the options, and then we'll decide what we want to get. And people will still, I'm sure, double dip and triple dip and get all those different things at the same time, especially if there's different artwork, if they're really into the movie. So I don't think studios, you're going to be losing out on too much money doing it that way. I think you're losing more money by playing this sick game where us collectors don't know when to buy, so we end up forgetting about the title. We end up not going back and buying it at all, even when the 4K comes out later, because it's just out of our mind, or you pissed us off so much. I just want studios to stop playing that sick game. I'm seeing more studios do this, and it's just so cautious now with me picking up a movie. I always decide if it's a movie I really want, but I really want it on the 4K format, I will wait. Like the Holdovers, I was able to hold myself over and not pick up the Blu-ray because I thought it was such a popular title. Somehow it's going to get released to a 4K in some way, shape, or form. And guess what? Now Shout Factory doing that 4K. Ooh, yeah, glad I'm waiting. I mean, I wouldn't have been pissed off if I got it was pretty cheap Blu-ray. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I wouldn't have been super mad. But still, I like to know all my options up front. And I know, of course, there's licensing deals, and you don't know what certain boutique labels are going to do sometimes. I mean, yeah, I get it. It's all at play. But I think more often than not, the studios are playing some sick games with us out there, and that needs to stop. But let's talk about when should we be picking up these 4Ks next. All right, so when should you pick up a 4K? How do you know in this wildness of collecting what's going to be out there? When do you make decisions? Well, it's all up to you. I wish I could say, hey, here's the formula once again. This is when you're going to do it. Follow these step-by-step rules. Well, no, everybody has their own collecting experience. They have to go on, of course, and you got to make decisions at certain points. So if you want something, of course, buy it. Do what you want with your money. But if you want to, be a little bit more cautious and kind of weigh, what I would say, if there's a title that you absolutely love and you don't want to double dip, like you are disgusted by double dipping like me, and you think there's a good chance for many reasons why it might come out to 4K. For example, maybe there's a 4K scan of it out there, but they only released it on Blu-ray, or it's a really popular title. You're like, oh, this just has to come out to 4K at some point. Then just wait a little bit, wait 6 months, wait a year, see if it comes out to 4K. And if it doesn't, well, then there you go. At that point, pick up the Blu-ray. I love having my, theater unlimited pass so I can preview the movies. So I'm okay. I can wait a little bit. I don't mind waiting 6 months to a year, decide to get it into my collection. And usually when I wait anyway, those earlier editions will become cheaper anyway. And I love to save a good deal. You guys know that, of course. But I think really that's probably the best approach. Unless you just absolutely need it into your collection day one, then go for it, and then maybe later on you have to double dip. But hey, if you end up loving the movie, maybe you won't be too mad with a double dip. Maybe you are a double dip. Dip the way you want to dip. I'll dip the way I want to dip. So there's not a wrong way to do it here. There's not a wrong way to collect these formats. I'm just giving, once again, some general strategies and tips. Like I said, I like to save money. I don't like to have multiple movies into my collection, even if it's different formats, if I can avoid it. So I'm okay being patient, playing the waiting game. These studios are playing that waiting game. I will play that waiting game with them. Now, some may argue, hey, they see the sales for the Blu-ray, and then that's when they decide if they want to manufacture the 4K to see if it's worth it for them financially. Okay, maybe I get it. So some people maybe are sacrificing by having to double dip to get to the 4K format. I don't think that's the case the majority of the time. Maybe some of the times it is. Maybe some of the times the studios are really testing out the waters. But hey, whatever. If they don't release it to 4K later on, then like I said, a year down the line, it became cheaper anyway. You end up picking the Blu-ray, then that's fine. No worries, no stress. You still got the movie at a good deal. So to me, that's how I kind of approach it. But those are just my general thoughts right now. I may change my opinion on this tomorrow. Who knows? But you guys gotta let me know in the comments below. When do you wait for certain formats to be released? What are your strategies out there for collectors? Of course, respond to other collectors in the comments below in a friendly film fan manner and just have a good dialogue discussion. Of course, if you haven't already, mega blockbuster that like and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you're alerted when a new physical media topic video post. And of course, have a great day watching and talking the movies, my friend. Of course, you love this physical media topic right here. Go ahead and mega blockbuster the next video right now. And thank you so much, my mega membership supporters. If you love talking and collecting movies, consider joining the Mega League of Film Fans through memberships to support content creation while gaining access to perks like shoutouts, exclusive videos, and future topic choices.